Good morning. It is Tuesday, April 5th. Hopefully you all had a wonderful weekend and maybe had some fun activities happen around April Fool's Day. Little jokes, harmless jokes, anything fun like that. We were watching the recording of Jeopardy from that day yesterday. We record it and watch it later. Yeah, I gotta have a sip of coffee now. And even Jeopardy got in on the fun. They did started the show and Alex was coming out and he didn't have pants on. He had shorts or something else. At one point they had the contestant scores upside down and Daily Doubled came down using the Wheel of Fortune sounds. There was like 10 different things that happened during the show. It was pretty funny. So they did a neat way of participating with that. I also went out yesterday, hobbled around. There's this place here called Prattville Pickers. It's a giant antiques stuff consignment type building. You know, lots of different booths of people's goodies that you can look at, and wandered around. And that was enjoyable. Got a couple of office chairs, one for the son and one for the husband. Got those for a really good price, so that was neat. So think of stuff like that when you're in there too, you know. Don't always have to buy brand new. These chairs were in excellent shape, and you know, just whoever had them didn't need them anymore. I also found there's one booth in particular in there that always has cigar boxes, and I decided to get these two. And one of these labels that's on these boxes is, I peeled this one off already. It came off pretty nicely. So those are going to be fun to use in some kind of junk journal. I got to find something to stick it to so it doesn't get messed up. This one's a little bit more beat up, but I'll be able to get it. And then I need to work on trying to get these ones off. I want to maybe sand the lids a little bit. Possibly do something on them. You know, cover up the cigar logos and whatever. I think you can actually go to some cigar stores and they will even give you these for free or for a very reduced price. But I do believe this person either works at a cigar shop, owns a cigar shop, or is a smoker of cigars, because there's quite a lot of containers. I would say he's probably knows someone who's or is in the cigar selling business. But these have very nice slide-in style, you know, grooved lids. I thought these would work great on one of my shelves over here to put, you know, smaller supplies in a group to keep them tidy. And we'll see how those go. Another thing I found while I was there was these printer's blocks. And I dug around a little bit and found what I was looking for, which I was happy about, because, you know, you can't always find exactly what you want. These were $1.50 each, so I thought that was a decent price for these. I've actually gone to a show before in Louisiana, I think it was, where I bought another set, which are up on a shelf right now and I can't get to. And they were smaller, and they were considerably more. I don't know what era these came from. The fact that these are kind of dirty and the other ones weren't. I don't know. But actually, let me just grab those real quick and then you can see the difference. So here's the ones I bought before, and you can see how they're a lot different font and size. Both the same word. And these ones were more expensive, even though they're smaller. If I had bought this size from that same person, they would have cost more too. Because he did his by what size you bought. So this was a 1-inch, and this would have been a 2-inch, even though it's, you know, skinnier. But what I have is the word art. And I don't care that the letters are backwards. And this one's actually technically backwards, but it would go this way, right? So they do need a little cleaning up. They got a bit of funky junk going on in the grooves there. Probably were found in someone's dusty attic with some gunk in them, but I'll get those cleaned up and make them look as nice as possible. And I don't need them to be super shiny or anything like that, but another word of art to stick on my shelf that's different from the other one. And there's both of them together. So that'll be pretty cool. And before we went to that place, my husband and I went to our favorite local Chinese buffet, and one of the new things they started doing is they have a chopsticks dispenser at your table. These are actually really decent chopsticks for being free. They aren't the break apart kind, which I've always found those annoying because they usually leave some kind of a rough edge. These are nice round ones. So I think I'll collect a few of those. I think this would be really neat to use on the edge of your book. Let's see if I have one here. You know, like in this region to use as your binding. So I'll collect a few of those. But their wrappers are really neat looking. And I haven't seen any of these chopstick packagings, I don't think, that were like this. So I didn't use the chopsticks to eat, my husband did, but I grabbed a packet of them for myself to use for something. And then the other thing I was doing yesterday, I was playing around a little bit with some of these watercolors and my rice paper I bought. First thing I did actually was, these are very delicate when wet, by the way, so you know, you don't want to try and pick them up or you're going to do something like that. But there's still quite a bit here. This is the bleeding art tissue. I snipped off some and kind of just randomly dispersed them onto the paper, and then sprayed it and then put another one on top and smushed them together, and then dried it, rearranged the tissues, sprayed them again to see if there was anything left. And this is what happened. So I think this was the top layer and this was the under layer. So the under layer actually got most of the good color. It's very light, kind of pastelish. You can kind of see some of the outlines where the paper shapes were sitting. I'm going to do some more experimenting with that and see what happens. But I got the idea that if I took the tissue and cut it in half, made myself some smaller panels, this size, maybe a little bit more manageable, and I've got my piece of glass here. So what I did with these is originally I had a few of them and I had them kind of rolled up like this, and I was doing the ink from the top, not ink but the paint, and seeing if I could get it to dribble down through there. Well, some of it worked and some of it didn't, and then I came up with another idea. So with the dribbling part, I was trying to create, I had to find the right one, that kind of an effect, but it wasn't working the way I wanted it to. It was doing more like I don't know where the other one went. Let me see if I can find it in my pile. It would do like, I guess like this would be the best one to show. See how it went down and then just kind of stopped and it didn't really do much? Because it got hung up in the folds of the papers. So all it really did was create this colored edge piece, which that in itself is pretty. So this one I actually created on my own by, you know, I had it stuck to the glass here and I just tilted it and dribbled it whichever way. So that turned out pretty neat. So I think I'll try that again. I'm going to do a little video maybe and show some of how these work. Not this particular one, but a different one. And I was using, I filled my little things up with water and swished them around, and then I sucked the paint color up with this syringe and was squirting it down the page. But you got to be careful when you're trying to direct your water, you know, like dabbing it, because I poked a hole through my paper right here. So like I said, this stuff is really delicate when it's wet for sure. So just be careful if you have rice paper and you're playing around with it like that. And at one point I decided to just, you know, spurt the water that had color in it onto the page, and that kind of created a neat effect. These have like a smooth side and a rough side. So I used the rough side. I put the smooth side to the glass. So here's where it was attempting to come down through the rolls as I was doing that. So I guess that would be a really good way of creating, you know, the edge piece, because that turned out pretty good. So I might do some more experimenting with that. Another thing I did was I just took some of those that, you know, didn't quite come out the way I wanted and started flicking paint splatters on them, and that turned out really good. I like that idea. So I'll probably do that again. This one I had done some of the squirting onto it. This one there was where I was trying to get the dribble line and it wasn't quite working, but got some really good paint splatters. You know, this is just a cheapo, was it Artist Loft or something like that? Kids paints. You know, I'm not really caring about wasting them or whatever. They've been sitting in my drawer for a couple years and haven't done much of anything with them. Not really proficient with watercolor where I can paint pictures or anything like that, so figured splatting them around on paper might be a good way of using them. Here's some more little sprinkle splats, and I'm not quite sure how I want to use these yet. Here a little bit close up of how those splats came out. So lots of fun colors. I just, you know, sopped them up with my brush and just tapped them on here, there, and everywhere. I was thinking of maybe trying to make it like a book. Fold up some of the pages. That's why I cut these down to this size in the first place. Not sure. Not sure if this is sturdy enough in any way whatsoever. You know, it might just become background fodder for something else. Not quite sure. At the moment I'm just having fun creating these little colorful pages. Some more dribbly attempts and some splitty splats with some squirty parts. So I tried to stay within, you know, certain colors because I don't want them to turn into just yucky brown or muddy stuff. And that's the last one of those, just to finish them up there. It's got like a burgundy, kind of a red and a purple on it for the splats. And then what I did is I put two pieces on here, one on top of the other, saturated the whole piece, and then started blopping on different colors. I wanted to see if I could create kind of a marbled thing, and I think it turned out pretty decent. So there's the blue one. This was the top piece, and then the bottom piece, you know, comes out very similar because it soaks through the... I knew it was going to soak through because of its thin value, so I didn't want to waste any of the colors by not having another paper there. And I think I probably could have gone with a third one, and the third one would have been, you know, even more pastel-ish, I guess you could say. So I just blobbed colors on here and there, and sometimes I spritzed it with water. Sometimes I just kind of went around. But I'm going to show how I did this in a video, so look forward to that. And the back sides come out pretty neat too. More of a muted down version, but should be pretty fun. I might do some videos where I experiment with these sheets to see what kind of things I can use them for. Then I went on to green. Oh, let me go back to the blue. After I had done the top layer and peeled it off, I actually added more color to the bottom layer to kind of darken it a bit too. But on the green one, when I took the top layer off, I just left the bottom layer as is. So your bottom layer is going to be, you know, a lot more pastel type. But I think it turned out really good. Now these little lines that you can see here and there, especially when I show you the back, that's from where the paper was kind of crinkled up on the surface. When you spray it, the air gets trapped underneath and causes little wrinkles. I don't suggest you try doing this to it once it's wet, because it's going to really put a bunch of rips in it. I think what I'll do with another one is crumple it first, then wet it and see how that turns out. So we'll do that in that video. And then of course you're going to have stuff left over on your thing, and I was just kind of, you know, using a piece of it to kind of wipe up a little bit, so you can get a neat effect using that as well. So that's what I've been up to this weekend and week. I have also done some work in my Vegas book. I printed out a few pictures and put them in there. Not done yet, so I'm not going to show you that. And I don't think anything fun came in the mail this week. I do have an order for a couple things to come in. What was it? Some inserts for my planner. I need a month on 2 pages kind of deal, so I ordered one of those because I didn't feel like trying to print one, plus my printer's being weird and making a mess. And I need a sip of coffee. And then I ordered the Delusions distress crayons, yeah, and a couple of goodies from that. So we'll see what those look like. I think those are supposed to show up today. So if they do, I'll do another little video and I'll post that later this week if you want to see that. And we'll go from there. So I hope you're having a great day. If you're a new subscriber, I thank you for subscribing. We're creeping up on 800, which is pretty funny. Never thought I'd get to 800. Hell, I don't think I ever thought I'd get to 500. So I really appreciate all of you being here, watching my bits of stuff that I show. I know I don't do a whole lot of process videos. You know, for me personally, I find it difficult to well, I'm having a heck of a time being creative at the moment anyway, but you feel less creative when you feel like you've got to do it for the camera. And so I don't always have the camera on when I'm playing around, and most of what I had been doing is coloring, so I don't really want to sit there recording me coloring, because there's so many people who do that, and I'm not really teaching you how to color. You're just going to watch me color, and that isn't necessarily interesting. I'd rather just color for myself and enjoy that, and then, you know, just flip through the pages later on and show you what I've done if you're interested. So I don't know, we'll see. So I hope you enjoy these little chats that I do each week. I know a couple people said that chat videos are boring, but hey, to each their own, right? Enjoy what you like. There's so many of us on there that, you know, if you want to watch someone paint a portrait, then there's people who do that, and you can watch those. If you want to sit and watch me blibber blabber and listen to my dog's toenails go by, then I'm here for that. So appreciate you being here. If you're new to the channel and you want to watch some more of my videos, then there's a subscribe button down there somewhere. Feel free to leave a comment and like the video and share with your friends if you think that they might enjoy watching. So take care, and hope you're all having a great day and continue to have a great week. Bye.